It was a normal Tuesday evening when my husband, Victor, told me something unexpected. His office had asked him to travel to another city for a big training program that would last one whole week. That meant I would be home alone for many days, something that had not happened in a long time. I knew this was a great chance for Victor to grow in his job, and I was happy for him. But deep inside, I felt a little scared about staying alone for so long. Victor noticed my worry, smiled warmly, and told me everything would be fine. He packed his bags, gave me a big hug, and promised to call me every night. When he left, the house felt strange. It was so quiet that it almost didn't feel like my home anymore. I tried to keep myself busy so I wouldn't feel lonely. I read books, watched my favorite TV shows, and even took walks in the evening. On the first day, being alone felt different, almost fun. I decided to treat myself by taking a warm bath, wearing my softest pajamas, and watching movies while eating my favorite snacks. But by the second day, the silence in the house started to feel heavy. I kept looking at the clock, waiting for Victor's call. Hearing his voice made me feel better, but after the call ended, the house became quiet again, and my heart felt a little empty. By the fourth evening, something surprising happened. I had just made a cup of tea and was about to read my book when the doorbell rang. My heart skipped a beat. Who could it be? I wasn't expecting anyone. I slowly walked to the door and opened it. Standing there was Moses, Victor's close friend from work. He was holding a bag of delicious-smelling pastries and smiling kindly. "Hey, Grace," he said. "Victor told me he was away this week. I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by to say hello. I hope that's okay." I laughed and stepped aside to let him in. "Of course, Moses. That's really thoughtful of you. Come in, it's nice to have company." Moses had been a good friend to both of us for years. We always saw him at dinners and gatherings, but we had never spent time together alone. We sat in the living room with tea and pastries, and soon, we were talking like old friends. The conversation was easy, and before I knew it, I was laughing more than I had in days. Moses had a way of making people feel comfortable. "It's strange when your daily routine changes," he said, sipping his tea. "But sometimes, these breaks help us see things in a new way." I nodded, thinking about his words. "You're right. I was so busy trying to keep myself distracted that I forgot to just enjoy the quiet." Moses smiled. "Exactly. Maybe this is a chance to slow down and enjoy the little things." By the time Moses left, I felt so much better. I thanked him for stopping by, and he told me to call him if I needed anything. When I closed the door behind him, I felt warmth in my heart. That simple visit had lifted my spirits in a way I hadn't expected. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed. Inspired by my talk with Moses, I decided to make better use of my alone time. I made a delicious breakfast, went for a longer walk than usual, and even started writing in a journal, a habit I had forgotten about years ago. Writing down my thoughts helped me see things more clearly, and I felt grateful for the little things in life. As the days passed, I slowly learned to enjoy my time alone instead of just waiting for it to end. I called friends I hadn't spoken to in a long time, cleaned and rearranged the house, and even picked up my old love for painting. One afternoon, I took a trip to a nearby park and sat by the lake, just watching the water ripple and listening to the birds sing. It was peaceful in a way I had never appreciated before. One evening, instead of staying home, I decided to visit a cozy cafe I had always walked past but never entered. As soon as I stepped inside, the warm smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air. I found a nice seat by the window, ordered a cup of chamomile tea, and watched the busy city outside. People walked by, lost in their own little worlds. It was a simple moment, but it made me feel calm and content. The barista at the cafe even started a friendly conversation and recommended a book for me to read. I decided to buy it on my way home. When Victor finally came back, I was so happy to see him. I welcomed him with the biggest smile, realizing just how much I had missed him. We sat together for hours, talking about everything that had happened while he was away. I told him about Moses' visit, my rediscovered hobbies, and how I had learned to enjoy my own company in a way I never had before. This week alone taught me something important, I said. I always depended on our daily routines, but now I see that being alone isn't something to fear. It can be a gift, a time to grow, to reflect, and to find joy in small things. As the days went by, I carried this new lesson with me. I started making time for myself, not just when I was alone, but even when Victor was home. I read more, took long walks, and even planned a weekend trip by myself to a beautiful nature reserve nearby. Instead of feeling nervous about being alone, I now looked forward to it. Most importantly, I learned that while love, friendship, and company are important, being comfortable with yourself is just as valuable. And sometimes, an unexpected visit or a quiet moment alone can teach you the most precious lessons about life and happiness. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share it with your loved one.